Whatever. It's one of those two. Babel 7. Now, with TypeScript support. Yes, I'm super excited. So I'm just gonna read the blog articles at you because it's fun. And here we go. All right, Babel 7 released August 27th, 2018 by Henry Zhu. For almost 2 years, 4,000 commits, over 50 pre-releases, and a lot of help, we are excited to announce the release of Babel 7. It's been almost 3 years since the release of Babel 6, or Babel 6, whatever. There's a lot of moving parts, so please bear with us in the first weeks of release. Babel 7 is a huge release. We've made it faster, created an upgrade tool, JS configs, config overrides, more options for size, minification, JSX fragments, yes, TypeScript, yes, new proposals, and more. More? I want more. That's not enough. I want more. There's more. If you appreciate the work we're doing on Babel, you can sponsor Babel, an open collective. Support me on Patreon, or get you and your company involved with Babel as part of work. We'd appreciate the collective ownership of this vital project in the JavaScript community. We should all do that stuff, or whatever. Okay, it's happening! Cue the GIF. Anyway. Software is never going to be perfect, but we're ready to ship something that's already been used in production for some time now. At Babel/core is already at 5.1 million downloads per month. Because of its usage in tools like Next.js 6, Vue CLI 3, React Native 56, and even WordPress's front end. Smiley face! Babel's role. I'd like to start this post by reintroducing Babel's role in the JavaScript ecosystem over the last few years. The initial release was that, unlike server languages, there was no way to guarantee that every user has the same support for JavaScript because users could be using different browsers with varying levels of support, especially older versions of Internet Explorer. If developers wanted to use new syntax, e.g. class A, users on old browsers would just get a blank screen due to the syntax error. Babel provided a way for developers to use the latest JavaScript syntax while allowing them to not worry about how to make it backwards compatible for their users by translating it. For example, class A to var A equals function A, yada yada. Because of its ability to transform JavaScript code, it also can be used to implement new features. Thus, it has become a bridge to help TC39, the committee that specifies the JavaScript language, get feedback on proposed JavaScript ideas, and for the community to have a say in the future of the language. Babel is fundamental to JavaScript development today. There are currently over 1.3 million dependent repos on GitHub, 17 million downloads on NPM per month, and hundreds of users, including many major frameworks, React, Vue, Ember, Polymer. And companies, Facebook, Netflix, Airbnb, it has become such a foundation for JavaScript development that many people don't even know that it's being used. Even if you aren't using it yourself, it's highly likely your dependencies are using Babel. Maintainers are people too. See, I did not know that Amjad Masad was part of the Babel team. How did I not know that? That's relevant because I know him. He's awesome. I haven't talked to him in a long time. I should see what he's up to. If you're watching this right now, what are you up to? Anyway, maintainers are people. Babel has a huge influence on not just the future of the language itself, but its community and ecosystem as well. But even with all of this responsibility, Babel is just a community-driven project by a couple of volunteers. It was only just this past year some of the team were able to meet for the first time in person. And I like that they arranged themselves by height. Yeah, just height. The level of smile is different per person, so they're not sorted by smile. It's definitely by height. Although the level of smile is quite high for each of them. Anyway, so this is a Twitter quote from Amjad. The original Babel.js team at last together from left to right. We got left pad. Jamie builds. He does. That's the Sebmic, otherwise known as the other Sebastian. And ours truly, I guess. That's Amjad. And Logan F. Smith, or Smythe. Logan F. Smythe. Or Smith. As much as this is an announcement, as much as this is an announcement post, I'd like to take the opportunity to remind everyone of the state of this project. I myself joined a few months before the 6.0 release, which had its own amount of controversy and backlash. Much of the reception there led to existing maintainer burnout, including Sebastian, Babel's creator. And a few of us that were left took on the reins. Like many maintainers, we accidentally stumbled into the role. Many of us didn't have any formal training into how compilers worked or how to maintain an open source project. Ironically, even purposely avoided majoring in computer science in college because I didn't want to take classes on compilers or anything low level because it seemed uninteresting and difficult. Yet I found myself drawn to tooling, linters, Babel, and JavaScript as a language. I'd like to encourage anyone to look into the open source projects that you depend on and to support them, both with time and monetary support if possible. And this is a personal aside. I absolutely totally agree with this, not just as a career move, although that is extremely smart as a career move, but because it's genuinely helping real people out in the real world, and it's great. Even if you're even if you're a designer or whatever, and you don't actually know how to work on compilers themselves, you could maybe volunteer to help with design or maintaining the website or helping with support or whatever. There's a million different ways of helping an open source project. Anyway, back to the post. Many maintainers aren't inherently experts in the things that they work on, and there is much to be accomplished from just starting the work first. You will come in with both curiosity and humility, both of which are great attributes to have as a maintainer. My desire is a hope for the vision of the project versus just all of us doing tasks. Babel isn't a company or an open source team at a major company like Facebook. There's only a handful of volunteers working on Babel, and it's only been a few months since I took the leap to leave my job and be the only one so far to work on open source full time. But people can come and go, have lives outside of this hobby, raise families, move on to different things, switch jobs, or are looking for jobs, etc. Are we collectively doing what we can to sustain the things that are so fundamental to how we work? Or are we going to allow the foundations to slowly crumble? How do we keep open source welcoming and inclusive, but with clear boundaries? Can we learn from the experiences of other maintainers? Although open source has clearly taken over software, can we really consider it to be in a healthy state without taking into account the people behind it? So hashtag Babel sponsors everything. Oh, that's funny. I see. So this is a photo of them at a conference, and they're asking for tips for maintaining Babel, and that is hilarious. They're sponsoring a thing with super low budget graphics. I love it. Okay, although confusing at first. Open source by Harry Wolf. Open source sustainability feels like giving out an offering basket at the moment. It's not difficult to state the value that projects provide to the thousands of people and companies using open source, but yet we don't see that value being shown in the few that are willing to put in the work. There can be so many ways to support open source, and yet not all approaches work for each project or people. Now, let's go to the changes. Major breaking changes. Major breaking changes. All right, that was fun. Everything should be documented in our migration guide. Many of these changes can be done automatically with our new Babel upgrade tool. I guess I've decided that it's Babel. I think that's what Sebastian 2.0 told me. But maybe not. Okay, dropped support for unmaintained node versions. All the ancient ones. .10, .12, 4, and 5. Move us to the @Babel namespace by switching to using scoped packages. This helps differentiate official packages, so Babel core becomes Babel/core, and no squatting. Yes, no squatting. No squats. NPM namespaces, super good. I love them. Okay. Remove and stop publishing any yearly presets. Okay. Replaces the need for these as it includes all yearly additions as well as the ability to target a specific set of browsers. That's Babel preset env. Neat. Also drop the stage presets, preset stage 0, etc., in favor of opting into individual proposals. Similarly, remove proposals from Babel polydefault by default. Please consider reading the whole post on this for more explanation. Some packages have renames. Okay, TC39 proposal plugin will now be -proposal instead of -transform. Yada, yada, yada. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Introduce a peer dependency on Babel core for certain user-facing packages. Babel loader, Babel CLI. Okay. Babel upgrade is a new tool we've started that tries to automatically make upgrade changes. Currently with dependencies in package.js and Babel RC config. We recommend running it directly on a Git repo with npx Babel upgrade. Or you can install it globally with npm I Babel upgrade-g. If you'd like to modify the files, you can pass --write as well as --install. For example, npm Babel upgrade --write --install. Please consider contributing by reporting issues or PRs to help everyone transition to Babel 7. A hope for the future is that we will use the same tool for all future breaking changes and create a bot to PR projects to update. Oh, that's cool. So their bot will automatically do pull requests on various projects to help them update. Huh, that's neat. JavaScript config files. We are introducing babel.config.js. Star.js configuration files are fairly common in the JavaScript ecosystem. ESLint and Webpack both allow for .eslint.rc.js and webpack.config.js configuration files, respectively. Now that note that this doesn't mean that it replaces writing a config with Babel RC or in package.json. It isn't a requirement, but having this may be useful in certain cases. Below is the case of only compiling with a plugin in production. Oh, that's neat. So you can use one plugin in production by putting code in your config. Neat. Okay. Babel config.js has a different config resolution than a Babel RC. It will always revolve the config from the file versus originally when Babel would do a lookup from each file upward until it found a config. This makes it possible to take advantage of the next feature proposed below, overrides. Selective configuration with overrides. Recently, I published a post that with thoughts on both publishing ES 2015 plus packages and also consuming /compiling them. There's a section that goes into using a new key in Babel's config called overrides, which allows you to specify different configs per glob. Overrides. Okay, so we get blah blah. Okay. This allows an application that requires different compilation configs for its tests, client code, and server code to skip needing to create a new Babel RC per file folder. Oh, good grief, that's going to be helpful. Speed, race car emoji, or Unicode. Unicode emoji? Unique emoji, that sounds like a toilet. Babel itself is faster, so it should take less time to build. We've made a lot of changes to optimize the code, as well as accept patches from the V8 team. We're glad to be a part of the web tooling benchmark, alongside many other great JavaScript tools. Not boring, I just had to yawn. Generally. Babel has supported preset and plugin options for some time now. To recap, you can wrap the plugin in an array and pass an options object to the plugin. Neat. Okay. We've made some changes to the loose option of some plugins and added some new options for others. Note, by using these options, you are opting into non-spec compliant behavior and should know what you are doing. This can become an issue when you switch off of compiling to use the syntax natively. These kinds of options are best used in a library, if at all. For classes, Class A will now not include the class call check helper. Okay. There's a new option if every use of a for of loop is just an array. Transform for of, assume array, true. Oh yeah, that's neat. We excluded the transform type of symbol plug-in to loose mode for preset env. We've found a lot of libraries doing this already, so we decided to do this by default. Note that the default behavior is to be as spec compliant as possible, so that switching off of Babel or using preset env is seamless versus allowing smaller output just to save bytes. There's a trade-off there that each project can make. We plan to work on better docs and tooling to make that easier. Pure annotation support. Ooh. After 6209, transpiled ES6 classes are annotated with a pure comment that allows gives a hint to minifiers like uglify and Babel minify for dead code elimination. These annotations are added to other helper functions as well. Okay. Neat. There might be more opportunities for minifier hints and optimizations. Let us know. Syntax. TC39 proposals support. I'd like to reiterate that we've removed the stage presets in favor of a policy of asking users to explicitly opt into proposals less than stage 4. The concern is that we are automatically opting people into syntax that is not fixed or done with the expectation that it will not change. But this is not the case, especially for proposals that are stage 0 or 1. This post explains a bit on the kind of thinking behind newer ideas. I'll maybe think about that later. Here's a small listing of some of the new syntax Babel supports. Keep in mind this feature set is still a moving target that could be added, removed, stalled, and which ones have been added in V7. All right, so we got object rest spread. Good stuff. Unicode property regex. JSON superset. I don't know what that is. New.target. Class private instance fields. Oh, interesting. Static class fields, private static methods. Interesting. Optional catch binding. Okay. Big int, syntax only. Dynamic import. Ooh. Oh, that's stage 3. Sweet. Import.meta, syntax only. Oh, that's interesting. Numeric separators. Oh, sweet. Function.sent. I've never heard of that one. I might have to look up more stuff. Export namespace from. So export star as blah from whatever. Split form, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Decorators, check below for an upgrade on our progress. And then stage 1, export default from. Optional chaining. Oh, yes. Yes. I want that so much. And logical assignment. Oh, neat. Nullish coalescing. Pipeline operator. What? And then throw expressions. Okay. It's hard for anyone to keep track of all the proposals, so we attempt to do that at Babel/proposals. TypeScript support. Now this is the stuff. This is the stuff right here, man. Let me just... TypeScript support in Babel 7. Oh, yes. Anyway. We worked with the TypeScript team on getting Babel to parse/transform type syntax with the Babel preset TypeScript, similar to how we handle flow with Babel preset flow. For more details, check out this post from the TypeScript team. Before with types. After types removed. Okay. Both Flow and TypeScript are tools that enable JavaScript users to take advantage of gradual typing. And we'd like to enable both in Babel. We plan on continuing to work closely with both of their respective teams at Facebook and Microsoft, in addition to the community at large, to maintain compatibility and support new features. This integration is fairly new, so it's possible some syntax isn't supported fully. We'd appreciate your help in reporting issues and maybe sending a pull request. JSX fragment support. Yes. As mentioned in the React blog, JSX fragment support has been available as of beta 31. Yes. So good. Okay. Babel helpers changes. The Babel upgrade PR is in progress. Babel/runtime has been split up into Babel runtime and Babel runtime core JS 2. The former only contains Babel's helper functions, and the latter contains that as well as any polyfill function. Babel may need to inject certain functions into the code that can be reused. We just call these helper functions, just like functions that are shared between modules. An example of this is with compiling a class without loose mode on. The specification says that you need to call a class with new person, but if it's compiled to a function, you could technically do person without the new. So we include a runtime check for this. Runtime check is if instance of constructor throw. Yes. Yeah, this is some boilerplate crap you got to put in if you're manually creating your own classes back in the dark old days of JS. With Babel/plugin transform runtime and Babel runtime as a dependency, Babel can extract the individual functions and just require the modular functions to enable smaller output, like so. Ta-da! The same can be done with external helpers and rollup plugin Babel. We're looking into seeing if we can automatically do this in the future. Look out for a standalone post on Babel's helpers soon. Automatic polyfilling, experimental. Polyfills are necessary for enabling features like promise, symbol, in environments that do not have support for them. This is important than differentiating between what Babel does as a compiler, transforms syntax, versus a polyfill, implements built-in functions/objects. It's easy enough to just import something that covers everything like Babel/polyfill. Ta-da. But it includes the whole polyfill, and you may not need to import everything if browsers support it already. This is the same problem that Babel preset_env tries to solve with syntax, so we apply it here with polyfills. The option use built-ins entry does this by splitting the original import into only the imports that are necessary. But we can do better by only importing the polyfills that are used in the codebase. The option use built-ins usage is our first attempt at enabling something like that. It will run through each file and inject an import at the top of each file if that built-in is used in the code. For example, if you use promises, it'll import the promises. The interface isn't perfect, so there may be false positives. Okay. Other ideas in this space are to use polyfill.io if you are okay with relying on a service, or read how Kent C. Dodds used it to build a hosted service at PayPal. MISC. Babel macros with a, what is, oh, it's a fishing pole Unicode emoji thing. One of the best parts of Babel is the pluggability of the tool. Over the years, Babel went from being just a 6-to-5 compiler into a code transform platform. I don't know if I can... there we go. Enabling some fantastic optimizations for both user and developer experience. Tons of Babel plugins have been developed for specific libraries and use cases to improve performance and compatibilities of library APIs that would not be possible otherwise. Some libraries are completely transpiled away, resulting in no runtime at all. That's extremely awesome. Unfortunately, adding these plugins to your codebase requires changing configuration, which some toolkits like Create React App don't allow. And it adds complexity to your code because developers have to know what Babel plugins are operating on a file to know what will happen to the code they're writing. These problems have been solved by Babel plugin macros by Kent C. Dodds. KCD. Once Babel plugin macros has been installed and added to your config, it's included in the Create React App v2. Ooh, let's check that out. You don't need to bother with your configuration to use any macros. Ooh, that's pretty sweet. In addition, it's even easier to write your own custom transforms. Oh yeah, I'm totally going to be doing that. For use cases specific to your app or one part of your code. Learn more about Babel plugin macros in our target post, Zero Config Code Transformation with Babel plugin macros. Module targeting. Oh, this button. What did I do? Okay. Did not do what I thought. Okay. What are we talking about? Okay. Module targeting. Babel has always attempted to balance the size impact of transformations and capabilities they provide to JavaScript authors. So balancing the size impact and the capabilities. Okay. In Babel 7, it has become much easier to configure Babel to support the growing popularity of the module/no module pattern. I don't know what that is. Notably, several CLI tools for popular web frameworks, Vue and Preact, are already leveraging support, leading to a roughly 20% reduction in shipped JavaScript to consumers of applications transpiled by Babel. Dude, 20%. That's not nothing. Color metadata and better defaults. We've added a color option to Babel-core, so our tooling can pass metadata to presets or plugins. For example, Babel Loader can add something like this, so that preset env can automatically disable the module transform. Same with rollup. So Babel transform code, file name, presets, supports static ESM true. I have no idea what this is talking about. This is exciting since it enables a way for tooling to provide better defaults and less configuration. I like that. For the case of Webpack/rollup, we can automatically defer to using their module transform instead of Babel's. Same with import A. Look out for more tooling to take advantage of this in the future. Okay, that's interesting. Sorry. All right. Class C extends HTML element. What? One of our oldest issues gets its own heading. Dude. Babel has always had the caveat where it could not support extending native built-ins, array, error, etc. And now it can. We've gotten a lot of these issues. We've gotten a lot of issues about this. Hooray emoji. You should celebrate, like Andrea. I don't know who that is. Oh, it's Web Reflection. Oh man, what he's up to. I haven't seen him in a while. This change was made to the class plugin, so it should be automatically enabled if you're using preset env. Website changes. Not sure we care about the website. Sorry. Oh, there's REPL. Neat. Okay. We have a song. Sorry. Sorry. I mean, yay, there's a song. No thanks. What's next? Babel is inherently tied to what it compiles, JavaScript. As long as there are new additions to propose/work on, there is work to be done there. That includes the time, effort to implement and maintain the syntax even before it becomes stable. We care about the whole process, the upgrade path, education of new features, teaching of standards, language design, ease of use, and integration with other projects. Related, we're almost finished implementing the new decorators proposal in Babel, thanks to Nicolo. It has been a long journey. It has taken more than 1 year. Because the new proposal is completely different and much more powerful than the old one, but it is almost there. Hooray! We can expect it to be released in one of the next minor versions, alongside with a blog post which will explain the changes in detail. Bupathy, I don't know what that is, has been diligently oh, that's a person. Okay. Sorry. Bupathy has been diligently maintaining Babel Minify, so we'll be doing a 1.0 for that next. Sweet. Sorry, I goofed on your existence. Oops. Okay. There are a lot of new features in the works. Plugin ordering, better validation and errors, speed, rethinking loose/spec options, caching, using Babel asynchronously, interesting, building against itself from continuous integration, smoke tests, running test 262. Check out this roadmap doc for more possible ideas. We have no secret plans. We're trying the best we can with what we have to serve this community. Open source is a mirror. I'd love if we'd have the time and research to accomplish all these ideas and do it well. But as we've shown in this current release, things take much longer than expected. Why do these releases take so long anyway? Is it from the feature creep? From both ourselves and our users? Was it because we don't understand how to prioritize among all the possible things to add or fix? Deciding to fix low-hanging fruit versus fundamental issues until the end, or distractions from helping others on GitHub, Slack, Twitter? Are we just bad at estimating our time? Understanding the complexities of these issues? Overcommitting as volunteers? Or are we just setting too high of an expectation on ourselves, or feel so pressured by others to perform and fit to their needs at the harm of ourselves? I can only describe it as a dread when seeing a message from someone online wondering why something hasn't been released, while another asks why this bug isn't fixed yet. I want to just rush it out and be done with it, but I also have a desire to take this seriously. I've tried to express some of these thoughts and struggles in my talk last week at React Rally through the open source looking glass, which I hope you can take an opportunity to listen to. The question I ask myself: what can I do about the inevitable cycle of maintainer burnout, constant anxiety, and unrealistic expectations? Like much of life, the things we do reflect our character and show us how we really are. The actions we take can in themselves change us, for better or for worse. If we are to take our work seriously, we should keep one another accountable in these habits that seem so embedded in our culture of instant gratification, success in terms of metrics, entitlement versus gratitude, and pride in overworking. But despite all of it, working towards this release has been so worth it. Thanks. This is truly a really exciting release, not only through looking back at what we've accomplished and enabled, but much more, just knowing how much time and heart was put into making it happen over the last year. It's hard to believe the opportunities and experiences that have happened along the way, interacting with and helping companies from all over the world, finding friends in almost any city I've visited, and speaking honestly about the unbelievable journey this group has taken up together. Personally, I've never really put so much of my mental energy into anything of this magnitude, and I'd like to thank so many people for lifting us up along the way. Shoutouts in particular to Logan Smythe, who has spent countless time to change so much of how the core works and always takes time to be so helpful in our Slack, while also working freelance, and Brian Ning, sorry if I pronounced that wrong, who has stepped up in such a big way to continue to maintain Babel, as well as review all my blog posts and talks. Daniel Schinder, Sven Soleo, Nicolio Ribaudo, and Justin Ridgewell have all just been instrumental in making this release possible and enjoyable to work on. Shout out to all the many community members on Slack, Twitter, and across all the projects on GitHub that also have to understand what we are doing for their own users. I'd like to give a huge thanks to my friends at Behance, Adobe, for sponsoring me for almost a year to work on Babel half-time before deciding to go full-time, as well as helping test Babel 7 in production throughout the whole time I was there. Oh, dude, huge. Big thanks to all of our sponsors for our open collective, especially Trivago and Handshake. And thanks to our friends and family for all of their love and support. We're all pretty tired at this point, but it's truly been an honor and privilege to serve in this way. So we hope you appreciate the release. Well, we better after that, right? All right, so this was all written by Henry Zhu. I don't think I know him. I may have met him. Awesome. Well, I'm following him now. All right, sweet. Okay, cool. Babel 7. So jazzed. Gonna be so good. All right. Now let's see what Microsoft had to say about it. TypeScript and Babel 7. Today we're excited to announce something special for Babel users. Over a year ago, we set out to find... Oh, let's see who's writing this. Daniel Rosenwasser. This was yesterday. That's this guy. He's at Microsoft. Oh, he's gotten almost 20,000 points. I don't know what points are, but good job. That's a lot of those. Over a year, we set out to find what the biggest difficulties were, what the biggest difficulties users were running into with TypeScript, and we found that a common theme among Babel users was that trying to get TypeScript set up was just too hard. The reasons often varied. But for a lot of developers, rewiring a build that's already working can be a daunting task. Babel is a fantastic tool with a vibrant ecosystem that serves millions of developers by transforming the latest JavaScript features to older runtimes and browsers. But it doesn't do type checking, which our team believes can bring that experience to another level. While TypeScript itself can do both, we wanted to make it easier to get that experience without forcing users to switch from Babel. That's why over the past year we've collaborated with the Babel team, and today we're happy to jointly announce that Babel 7 now ships with TypeScript support. Yes. How do I use it? If you're already using Babel and you've never tried TypeScript, now's your chance, because it's easier than ever. At a minimum, you'll need to install the TypeScript plugin. npm install --save dev Babel TypeScript. Though you'll also probably want to get the other ECMAScript features that TypeScript supports. Preset TypeScript, preset env, plugin proposal class properties, and plugin proposal object rest spread. Make sure your Babel.js has the right presets and plugins. For a simple build with Babel CLI, all you need to do is babel./circ --outdir lib --extensions ts and tsx. Your files should now be built and generated in the lib directory. Ta-da! I added the tada. It didn't say it. But it needed a tada there, you can tell. To add type checking with TypeScript, create a tsconfig.json file with all that stuff. Be sure to add no emit true so it doesn't emit all your JavaScript and do the same thing Babel does. Or, try or whatever. And then just run tsc, and that's it. tsc will type check your ts and tsx files. Feel free to add the ~watch flag to either tool to get immediate feedback when anything changes. You can see how to set up more complex build on the sample repository, which integrates with tools like Webpack. You can also just play around with the TypeScript preset on Babel's online REPL. Oh, that's nice. What does this mean for me? Using the TypeScript compiler is still the preferred way to build TypeScript. Well, according to the TypeScript people. They prefer it. I don't know if I prefer it. While Babel can take over compiling / transpiling, doing things like erasing your types and rewriting the newest ECMAScript features to work in older runtimes, it doesn't have type checking built in and still requires using TypeScript to accomplish that. So even if Babel builds successfully, you might need to check it with TypeScript to catch type errors. For that reason, we feel TSC and the tools around the compiler pipeline will still give the most integrated and consistent experience for most projects. So if you're already using TypeScript, maybe this doesn't change much for you. But if you're already using Babel or interested in the Babel ecosystem and you want to get the benefits of TypeScript like catching typos, error checking, and the editing experiences you might have seen in the likes of Visual Studio and Visual Studio Code, this is for you. Anyway, caveats. As we mentioned above, the first thing users should be aware of is that Babel won't perform type checking on TypeScript code. It will only be transforming your code and will compile regardless of whether type errors are present. While that means Babel is free from doing things like reading DTS files and ensuring your types are compatible, presumably you'll want some tool to do that, and so you'll still need TypeScript. This can be done as a separate TSC ~watch task in the background, or it can be part of a lint or a continuous integration step in your build. Luckily, with the right editor support, you'll be able to spot most errors before you even save. Yes. Second, there are certain constructs that don't currently compile in Babel 7, specifically namespaces, bracket style type assertion, cast syntax, enums that span multiple declarations, legacy style, import-export syntax. These omissions are largely based technical constraints in Babel's single file emit architecture. We believe that most users will find this experience to be totally acceptable. To make sure that TypeScript can call out some of these omissions, you should ensure that TypeScript uses the ~ isolated modules flag. What's next? You can read up on the details from the Babel side on their release blog post. Done. We're happy that we've had the chance to collaborate with the folks on the Babel team like Henry Zhu, Andrew Levine, Logan Smythe, Daniel Chinder, James Henry, Diogo, Franco, Ivan Babek, Nicolo, Rabato, Brian Ning, and Vladimir Kerchakin. We even had the opportunity to speed up Babel's parser and helped align with James Henry's work on TypeScript ESLint parser, which now powers Prettier's TypeScript support. Sweet. If we missed you, we're sorry, but we're grateful and we appreciate all the help people collectively put in. Our team will be contributing to future updates in the TypeScript plugin. Sweet. And we look forward to bringing a great experience to all TypeScript users. Going forward, we'd love to hear your feedback about this new TypeScript support in Babel, and how we can make it even easier to use. Give us a shout out on Twitter at TypeScriptLang, or in the comments below. Happy hacking! Happy hacking! All right. So done and done. So what's happening with the pipeline proposal? Okay, so what now? Oh, that's neat. Okay. What's with the slash, though? This is becoming a weird language. But, okay. Yeah, I'll have to look that up later. I'm guessing it's like wrapping the results in a thing. Yeah, okay, so it's converting. So this is how you would normally write it, which is really tedious, where the results of one function are passed in as the argument to the next function, which is passed into the argument of the next function. So you start on the inside, on the rightmost end of the thing, and then work your way towards the left, which is opposite mentally and really confusing and annoying. So the I think that's how it works. Anyway, so the opposite would be to use this new syntax. I guess this is some other new syntax here, namesake space something. I don't know. Right. Okay, so there's issues with like async await and the pipeline operator. Okay, that's it. That's interesting. I'll have to play with that. Looks like it's going to be super confusing at first. Alright, that's enough of that. Babel plugin macros. So you can build your own macros for Babel that do neat stuff. I'll have to check that out more later. Zero config code transformation with Babel plugin macros by Kenzie Dodds. Compilers are new frameworks, says Tom Dale. Yeah, I can get behind that. Alright, I'll have to look at this later. And then, let's see. Okay. Sweet. Good job. Alright. Follow this guy. Alright, that's enough for me. Goodbye.